Hello YouTube and welcome back to another 3D ROS tutorial. From the title you can probably presume what we're going to look into in this tutorial. I'm going to show you how I created this zoom feature as seen in the game that I'm working on at the moment. So I just opened a tutorial project, so the first person example map, and I'm going to open the character blueprint by clicking on it, edit blueprint, open blueprint. So now I want to determine what button activates this event. I'm going to choose the right mouse button. So I'm going to right click and type in right mouse button. Okay, when we press this button, before we do anything we want to check if we're already zooming in or not. So to do this I'm going to create a variable. So plus variable here, make sure it's a boolean which is true or false. I'm going to name the variable isZoom ? So we're just going to left click, drag that in, and we're going to get it. And now I want to check if this is true. To do this we create a branch, so you can hold B and left click, or you can right click and type in branch. And when the right mouse button is pressed, we want to check if zoom equals to true or false. If we're not currently zooming, we'll want to zoom in. If we are currently zooming, we'll want to zoom out. So to control our zoom, we're going to use a timeline. So right click, type in timeline, press enter, and I'm going to call the timeline zoom. So if we're not zooming, we'll want to play it. If we already are zooming, want to play it in reverse, so we're zooming out. So to control the timeline, just double click on it and we'll use a float track. A float is just a number that can have decimals in it. So we're going to create that and we're going to set the length to something like 0.25 seconds. So just type that in here. So if we shift left click on the timeline, this is going to be our first keyframe. I'm going to set the time to 0, so it starts from the beginning, and the value is going to be the field of view of the camera at present. So if we go on to the first person character, we go to the first person camera, and we'll see the field of view is 90, so we're going to set this value as 90. Now we're going to set another keyframe, shift left click again, set the time to the end of our timeline, which is 0.25. And we're going to set the value to something like 45, less than 90. Now we want to go back to the event graph, and when this happens we'll want to change the camera field of view. So I'm going to right click, type in set field of view, set field of view there. So on update we'll want to set the field of view, and our track is going to be the variable of the field of view. Just so we know what's happening, I'm going to go back to the timeline, I'm going to double click up here, or right click rename, and call this zoom, or field of view. So now the field of view on the timeline, the numbers on the timeline are going to change the field of view number. So now if we play this, when we left click we're going to zoom in, but if we left click again it doesn't zoom out. That's because we haven't changed the zoom. So when zoom is false, next time we'll want it to be true, so it zooms out. So we're going to drag in zoom again, but we're going to press set, and when it's false we want to set it to true next time, and when it's true we'll want to set it to false next time. So now if we go back in the game, left click, right click rather, zoom in, right click again, zoom out, right click zoom in, right click zoom out. And what I did with my other project is I went to edit project settings, and I went down to input and I created an action mapping called zooming, as I have here, and I set it to the right mouse button, and you can also add other action mappings for controllers, or if you wanted other keys to also zoom in. And to set that up, whatever we called the action mapping input, in my case I called it zoom, and to add one you just press here, and I called it zoom. So if we right click here, type in zoom, and under action events we have zoom. And if we do on pressed zoom rather than right mouse button, if we press any one of the keys we had in the list for zoom, it will now zoom in. This way we don't have to find every instance of when we want to use certain buttons and change it. We'll just change it in the input menu, and as you can see, this will still work. And obviously if you want to zoom in more, just go to the timeline, double click, and you can set the values. You can select the keyframes and set the values to higher or lower. So 45, if we want to zoom in more, we can do something like 20, compile and save. Now if I right click, we zoom in a lot more. If you want to zoom in less, you just set it to a higher number. So let's just say 75. Right click and then zoom in a little bit. So yeah, that's how you create a simple zoom function using Blueprint and Unreal Engine. If you found this helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing. It'll really help me out a lot. And if you have any problems, just let me know in the comment section below, and I'll try and reply to every comment I get. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.